Liver Qi stagnation is probably one of the most common Chinese medicine pattern we see in clinical practice. Today, I wanted to talk about its symptoms, the consequences if it's not addressed, the root cause, and treatment, including acupuncture points, formula, and food.
Welcome to AcuPro, a show dedicated to making Chinese medicine and acupuncture easy to grasp and fun to learn. Hi, I'm your host, Clara Cohen. I support practitioners and students, and like you, in changing the world one patient at a time. My goal is to share my passion for TCM and empower you to achieve superior patient care. I love to showcase the amazing benefits of acupuncture because, after all, acupuncture rocks.
Let's start with going back to foundation. My teacher back in school used to say to me, if you don't understand something or you can't grasp why, go back to foundation. So let's look at the function of the TCM liver system as a whole. Its function, first and foremost, is to allow better flow of qi. Flow of qi is depending on the liver. The better the liver flows for the qi, because liver moves qi, the better supple and easy moving we would be. That's why the liver is also in charge of tendons, ligaments, sinews, and joints. So if there is tight joints or joint issue, we also have to look at the liver. The liver opens into the eyes. It reflects into the eyes, red eyes, eye twitch. We have to look at the liver itself. The next thing is liver is in charge of storing blood, specifically for menstruation. When it comes to women, if they're having scanty bleeding or amenorrhea or not enough blood, we can look at the liver. Or if there's a lot of cramping, clots, and dysmenorrhea, we can also look at the liver. The other function of the liver is that it reflects into the nails. We look at the color, if it's brittle, if it's purple, if the nails are very pale, that gives us clues on what's happening with the liver. And the other function that is part of the liver is that it is in charge of our vision, our goals. So whatever we want to manifest, whatever we want to have happen, we need to make goals to make it happen. So being in control of having a vision, of planning whatever we're trying to accomplish or achieve, that is the liver. Next, let's look at the cause of liver qi stagnation. Before we look at the causes, let's remind ourselves of the symptoms. Often the symptoms are very subtle, but they are there. So one of the main symptoms, since liver is in charge of moving qi and good flow, is tension, right? Shoulder tension, neck tension, maybe tight hip flexors as well, tight ankles. So our whole body is not relaxed. It's more tense. The second thing is often for women is increased symptoms prior to menstruation. So PMS or premenstruation syndrome, usually including breast tenderness, more bloating, having more mood swings, clumsy, and feeling irritable, right? So that comes as a PMS. However, the rest of the time for everybody, other liver qi stagnation symptoms would be impatience, not having any patience. One time I asked a patient, are you stressed? And she said, no, I'm not. I'm not at all. And she got irritable with me. And I said, are you sure? And she goes, no, it's just that everyone around me is stupid. And I said, is everyone around you is stupid? Like everyone. And then she looked at me and she went, okay, maybe I'm irritable and I'm stressed. So sometimes people are so used to be impatient or irritable easily or frustrated, they don't see it that it comes from stress. And sometimes it could be years of stress, right? The pulse will be wiry, mostly on the left side because liver is in the middle left side of the pulse. And the tongue will not change. So the tongue will stay pink, or if we have other pattern, then it will show the other pattern. Liver qi stagnation root cause is stress. Stress will start by tensing, tightening the body. And it'll show with clenching the jaw as well, because our body automatically will be tense even at night while we sleep. So stress is the number one root cause of liver qi stagnation. Another one, because we said it's about flow and freely flowing, is a lack of movement. So if someone has no exercise and they sit in front of the computer all day long and they don't move much, eventually they'll get liver qi stagnation. And because it's in charge of the flow of qi, Usually we have good bowel movement, good digestive system because it's flowing. With people sitting and not moving at all, they have tendency to have bloating. At the end of the day, it's getting worse. So we have a lot of bloating that can be due to many different patterns, right? But if it's a liver qi stagnation bloating, it's the bloating that you close your pants in the morning, but by the day goes, it gets bigger bloating, and by the end of the day, you cannot feel your pants. They're so tight, you want to open them. So the bloating increases with the day. And that's a liver qi stagnation. And usually the next morning, the bloating is right back down. So when it comes to liver qi stagnation, root cause, stress, and lack of movements are the two main causes. Consequences of not addressing liver qi stagnation is going to lead to more issue, and that's why it's important to address it. What are the consequences of liver qi stagnation if it's not addressed? The most common one is liver yang rising. Liver yang rising is that next stage where we have liver qi stagnation, we are tense, we are stressed, but now we get more symptoms. The more stress is put upon us, the more symptoms we get. We start getting temporal headaches at the end of the day. We start having maybe red eyes. We wake up in the night between 1 and 3 a.m. However, we are able to fall back asleep. The tongue might have a bit of red sides because the yang rises, so heat rises. We feel warmer, more irritable, more angry. We're short fused much more than with liver qi stagnation. It's like a volcano exploding and then coming back down. That's a liver yang rising. The next level after that, which is worse, is liver fire. So now we're constantly upset, constantly mad. We now have hot temporal headache every day, and when you put a cold compress, it feels better. Because there is fire, fire rises, we may get high blood pressure, constant red bloodshot eyes. Now, if we wake up at night between 1 and 3, we will not be able to fall back asleep. We are going to stay up and we are going to be quite warm most of the night. Also, because there's fire, it dries fluids, so there may be constipation, bitter taste in the mouth. The tongue now is going to be red and it may have a really dry yellow coat on it. The pulse will be wiry, rapid. With liver yang rising, usually the pulse is wiry. It can go rapid and come back down, but with liver fire, it's constantly wiry, rapid. The third one that can occur is liver blood stasis. So liver blood stagnation or liver blood stasis is a consequences of liver qi stagnation because liver moves qi, but qi moves blood. Blood is material. It cannot move unless there's energy. There's qi to move it, right? So if we have liver qi stagnation that is there for a long time, eventually it may lead to blood stagnation, which is a worse condition in TCM perspective because now there's going to be pain, fixed pain. That could be dysmenorrhea, could be clots in the blood with really bad cramping. Instead of shoulder tension, you have that shoulder knot back there that's so painful. You just want to take it out. It's so stabbing pain. Or you have stabbing headache, like just so strong and it's pounding and pounding, right? The tongue would be purple and the pulse would be wiry, choppy. Those consequences are very much excess. However, there's deficiency that can occur from liver qi stagnation because the liver in Chinese medicine, or wood element, which the liver corresponds to the wood element, the wood controls the earth in Chinese medicine, which means that liver controls spleen and stomach, right? When liver qi stagnates and there's a lot of stress, a very common pattern is wood overacts on earth. Over control, overact on earth. And that can lead to two different patterns, either spleen qi deficiency or stomach qi rebelling. Those are the two that it can lead to. When there is a lot of stress, for some people, it will go more towards the spleen, meaning the liver qi stagnation will suppress the spleen energy and the spleen is going to become deficient. When there's a lot of stress, people will say, oh, I lost my appetite. I don't want to eat. I have loose stools all the time. It's IBS, right? IBS, liver qi stagnation, overacting on spleen, creating spleen qi deficiency. Irritable bowel syndrome is a constipation alternating with diarrhea. That is a liver overact on spleen. So that's very common as well. The person will be fatigued, all the stress, and they worry so much that it's exhausting them, and spin Qi becomes deficient. The other one that could happen, and both can happen, but often is like when there is liver qi stagnation, it overact or over controls stomach. And now, because stomach has tendency to go excess versus spleen has tendency to go deficiency, now it creates stomach qi rebelling. And if stomach qi is rebelling, we have symptom of constant nausea, feeling like a knot in our stomach, maybe acid reflux, right? This is very common when people are stressed. Acid reflux will make it worse, right? We may have a bad breath. We may have tendency to have acid regurgitation. Food will be really hard to digest, hungry all the time and craving, and we're just eating anything and everything. Those are the consequences that liver qi stagnation can lead to. One more is the creation of excess fluid, okay? Specifically phlegm and dampness as well. I have a whole video on phlegm and dampness, the difference and how do we differentiate them. But no matter what, it's excess mucus, excess body fluid. When there is no movement, again, when liver is not able to move qi, it's stagnated, then the fluids are not properly moving. And because they're not properly moving, they accumulate. And now we have excess dampness or excess phlegm. But liver qi stagnation can amplify it, make it worse, and so then we have a lot of mucus. This is why, even though it's super easy to treat liver qi stagnation with Chinese medicine, it has consequences that are massively impactful on the body and on the health of our patients.
If you still struggle to come up with the right treatment protocol for your patients, you are going to love my third book. By popular demand, I have created a guide for TCM treatments for over 160 common syndromes with acupuncture points, herbal formula, ear points, diet, and so much more, including many of my clinical pearls. It is the game changer for acupuncture students and specifically for practitioners. You can download the digital version on any device, and it comes with many video links to complement it. Or if you're like me and you'd rather have a hard copy version, the publisher ships it all over the world. But before you invest in my Chinese medicine treatments made easy, I want to make sure it's everything you were looking for so you can download a sample of it. Listen to what people who invest in this book had to say. Thank you, Clara. This is exactly what I needed. I love how you organized this book. It's truly helping me in my first year in practice. Yay! So excited. Bought it immediately. It will be a great resource for studying for boards. That's awesome. Oh my God, I immediately purchased this, and it is such a bargain price that I almost feel ashamed for paying what I believe is worth of much more. Even as an experienced practitioner for over 10 years, I like your stuff just as much and benefit from it. Yay! All this is just so rewarding for me. So I hope you get your copy if you don't have one. The link is in the show notes below, or you can go to my website, acuproacademy.com, and click the shop tab on the menu bar. You won't regret it. I put so much heart and soul in it. I hope you enjoy it and benefit from it, and in turn, your patients do as well.
Now, let's go back to liver qi stagnation treatment. Before we talk about points and all the treatments that we can offer in Chinese medicine, let's talk about how to educate the patient in managing stress and reducing the stress. It's important that patients found the way that helps them reduce stress. It could be yoga, tai chi, exercising, meditating, journaling, reading, playing with their kids, going to walk the dog, whatever it is, they need to take the time every day for that breath. Take breaths, right? Breathing exercise and calming all that stress. That's really important. And then we can come in with acupuncture. And acupuncture is one of the best ways to treat liver qi stagnation because it puts the patient into a parasympathetic state. Because most of the patients, when they come in, they have been stressed and they've been on the fight or flight. So putting them on the rest and recover state or the parasympathetic state is really important. That's what acupuncture does. It helps the body self-regulate. The best point for liver qi stagnation is liver 3. Specifically, if we combine liver 3 with large intestine 4. Li4 and liver 3 are great because they're called the four gates, right? 2 points on each side, 2 on the hand between the first and second metacarpal, and 2 on the feet between the first and second metatarsal. So it's the same area. They open the flow of qi and blood because liver 3 moves qi and large intestine 4 moves blood. The other point that we use a lot that is such a good point as well is gallbladder 34. It is really good for the joints to allow better flow, for relaxing the shoulders and the shoulder tension or the temporal headache. You can use this during pregnancy or anytime. It's such a powerful, strong point. So those are my favorite points to look at when it comes to the basic. Of course, you can add up the back shoe point of liver, bladder 18. You can add up the front move point of liver, liver 14. You can add up any other point that is basically needed by each patient's symptoms. Spleen 6 is such a good point for liver qi stagnation as well. Again, not during pregnancy, because spleen 6 not only moves liver qi, but it also strengthens spleen if liver is over controlling spleen. So it is a really good point to add for better movement of liver qi as well. Good? And of course, if the person is stressed, you can do yin tong and ear shenmen and any point to calm the mind. The second thing is looking at formula. So let's look at formulas. There are a lot of formulas that can help with liver qi stagnation. I think that acupuncture is usually enough, but let's look at the formulas. So the first formula, that's the most common formula, is Chai Hu Shu Gansen. And again, I'm sorry, I don't pronounce Chinese very well. I'm French, speaking English and teaching Chinese is fantastic. I love it. Okay, so Chai Hu Shu Gansen means Chai Hu is the king herb in the formula. And the king herb, Chai Hu, is bupleurum in English or in Latin, I should say. Shu Gan, Gan is liver. So Shu Gan Sen, Sen is powder. Shu means soothe, calm, relax, liver powder. So Chai Hu relax the liver or soothe the liver powder. So this is a really good formula for liver qi stagnation to de-stress as a great, easy formula to take. The other very common formula is Shayao San. This is one of the most common formula in TCM overall. And Shayao San is often translated, again, San means powder, as rambling powder or free and easy wanderer powder. So free and easy wanderer, right? It's the opposite of the flow of qi that's tight. It's freeing, it's wandering, it's happy. So Shayao San is for liver qi stagnation when it's overacting on spleen and making spleen deficient. This is definitely the formula for it. So those two are the most common formulas. Last but not least, food that is great for liver qi stagnation, because after all, food is medicine. When it comes to liver qi stagnation, I think the most important thing is to not overeat big meals that are going to sit there, right? Because that doesn't allow for better flow. So what we want to do is have meals that make us 80% full, not 100%, 80% full, which means satisfied, but not feeling like our pants are going to explode and just burst out, right? The second thing is alcohol makes liver worse. So we don't want, obviously, in the Western sense, the liver organ does not like alcohol, right? But in TCM perspective, it is not helpful because alcohol brings more heat. And liver has tendency to have a lot of heat issues like liver yang rising, liver fire, has a lot of excess heat easily, or liver yin deficiency for that matter, right? So we want to avoid things that are going to cause a lot of heat. However, we still want to put a little bit of spice to get some movement and something that is warm, maybe not hot, but warm, like marjoram, like basil, like lemongrass, right? Those are great. You want to add up food that is really easy to digest as well, that is going to flow easily. Apple cider vinegar, sour food like lemon, Granny Smith apple, raspberries are very good for the liver as well. I hope that was really useful and that helps you understand the whole liver qi stagnation because it's so common. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I truly hope you benefited from this episode, and I would love for you to share it with a friend that may benefit from it as well. Follow the show, leave a review, and if you want more,
go to my website, acuproacademy.com. I have tons of resources there with treatment protocols, case studies, free courses, and so much more. And connect with me on all social media at AcuPro Academy. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, Pinterest, and LinkedIn and TikTok. And no matter what, keep rocking it using TCM. Please listen to the disclaimer, because the AcuPro Show podcast and material shared through AcuPro Academy, which is a subdivision of Natural Health Sense Incorporated, are designed solely for educational and entertainment purposes. The utilization of information from this podcast or any associated material is at the user's discretion and risk. This content is not meant to replace the guidance of an acupuncturist, Chinese medicine doctor, medical doctor, physician, or any qualified professional, nor is it a substitute for proper diagnosis or treatment. Users are strongly advised not to ignore or postpone seeking medical advice for any existing medical condition with their healthcare professional regarding any health concerns.